So yeah, the way the VA loan entitlement works is if it's your first VA loan or you have a free and clear VA loan, you have unlimited eligibility for that one acquisition. So basically, if you qualify for $2 million of income, or your income qualifies you for $2 million to be able to purchase a $2 million property, you can do that with a VA loan. There's no limit anymore, which is awesome. However, once you use your VA loan and have an existing property in place under a VA loan, then your eligibility is dictated by an equation. Basically, it's what is the county limit, what is the threshold amount they're willing to lend to in that county, usually between $700,000-800,000, minus your existing VA loan amount you took out, and that remainder is what you're eligible for additional VA loans. So let's say the county that you're in allows up to $800,000. You've already used $400,000. You can use your VA loan for an additional $400,000 purchase. And if the property's over $400,000, the VA buyer can put 25% down on that difference. So if it's a $500,000 home, they use the VA loan 0% down on the $400,000. For that $100,000 difference, they'd have to put 25% down. That's basically the gist of it. So if you own a VA loan, if you have a VA loan completely free and clear, there's an unlimited amount you can use it for on that one acquisition. Once you have a property purchased through your VA loan and it still is it's still owned, then you lose that unlimited amount and you're limited to that like constrained amount, that maximum county limit that they'll allow you to purchase under. So you can have unlimited VA loans as long as they qualify underneath, like the total amount is underneath that total county limit, which usually is like 2, maybe 3 VA loans at one time. There's one caveat, which is your one-time restoration of your VA loan, but that's a whole nother thing. It's if you pay off the loan or refinance the loan, then you can use your one-time restoration to basically free and like completely clear up your VA loan entitlement. But that's more nuanced. The real one in this scenario that you're describing is they have a VA loan, you purchase it subject to, then what they're eligible for an additional VA loan is the difference in their county limit and what their existing VA loan amount was that they took out. Does that make sense? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it helps that I've had to do it a few times too. Yeah.
And they're saying, I'm concerned about my eligibility. Now I can just repeat what you just said, which sounds great, but I would imagine the very next question. So how do I know what the county limit is?
Yeah, so it's all available online. If you want to look up the VA county limits, you just look it up online. Just type in VA loan limit for X, and there should be a variety of tools out there. Right, I'm not 100%, like I don't look at it, but look, I can Google it real fast. So I'm gonna say, and it's probably gonna be on va.gov, honestly. That's what I reference for all of my VA stuff, whether it's healthcare, loans, whatever. So VA loan entitlement limit. So that's the term, it's entitlement. That's what it's yeah, eligibility is fine. Just are you eligible for the VA loan basically means, have you been active duty for at least 90 days? That's kind of what eligibility is. So are you eligible for the loan? Entitlement is the how much you have available, basically. And really helps, like in my market of San Diego, where people are buying $1 million homes, they wipe out all their entitlement with one property. But for the most part, and especially if you're going from a high cost of living to low cost of living, you've probably wiped out your entitlement with one acquisition. But for the most part, in the majority of the country, you can get maybe 2 loans at one time. Yeah.
And the house that they want to buy, that would be
Mm-hmm.
randomly selected by the here.
Mhm.
It's a pretty small town, Pennsylvania, property values are somewhere from 80 to 100,000, and the VA limit is 510,000.
Yeah. See, it's always going to be in excess of. Yeah, exactly. So you found that. Yeah, I'm here right now. You found it as well.
Yeah, it was on the homepage.
Yep. Perfect. And like I said, I always reference va.gov. That's just the Veteran Affairs website. They have typically all of the right info, but it's not the easiest to use sometimes, but that's my go-to to start off. And even on here it says check current loan limits, and then it says check conforming loan limits page, and then just like look for the info based on your zip code. It's like that easy, which is awesome. Yeah. Yeah, and like the idea for the VA loan is never to have it as an investment, right? Because they're supposed to own or occupy. But they also understand people have to move every 2-3 years, or they're forced to move every 2-3 years. It's not really fair to force them to sell a property just to be able to buy the next one. So they were very considerate in that regards, right? So they understand they're not creating an investment product with the VA loan. But to be fair, I've also used it as my best investment product, house hacking small multifamily, every single year and not selling them when I move to another location. So, there's a ton of pros to it. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Definitely. And I would say they were fairly liberal in the amount of eligibility, or the entitlement amount that they allow for in each county. Like it's all fairly reasonable. Obviously, like I said, in San Diego, you're gonna wipe away your loan limit with one property purchase, but like that's all right. Like, it's not the end of the world for that. Let me see if I look up. Mhm. Two. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. So, like you said, it's the hardest when you're going from a high cost of living to low cost of living to reuse your VA loan. But when you're low cost of living, like you're in a very good position to be able to use it more and more and more. And then you even have higher, I believe you even have higher limits based on the number of units. I think that is similar to the FHA loan in that regards. And people have tools like the calculation is as easy as it can be. It's literally the county that you're going into that you want to buy into, whatever their loan limit is, minus the loan amount you took out initially. That's it. The rest is that, and then that net is what you have left. And remember, even then, if you only have 400,000, you need to buy 500,000. 400,000 is at 0% down. That 100,000 difference is 25% down. So, 25K to get into a 500K property, the blended down payment is still incredibly low. So that's another tool to include in your tool belt when you're talking to them about that. Yes.
One little point of clarification question.
Yep.
You said if the county limit is minus the loan that you originally took out,
Yes. Not.
the outbound.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. It's not. They don't focus on the existing loan amount that's remaining. They focus on the amount of loan you took out initially. Yes. Yeah. That's how it's calculated.
But what if you took out a $500,000 loan, been there for 10 years, worked so hard, paying it down, now it's $100,000? That's the only debt that's viable.
Yeah. Even if it's fully paid off, they don't care. It's because they are backing the acquisition of the loan initially, right? That's what they're doing initially. They're backing the acquisition of the loan the first time, or the initiation. So for right, so if I bought a $500,000 condo, I'd still have another condo I could buy or whatever. Yeah, I'm saying condo because even that's $500,000 condo here. Mhm.
Let's say you bought a $500,000 house,
Mhm.
work real hard over 10 years,
Yep. Yep. Yes, so that's what I was mentioning as the one-time restoration. You can do that one time, whether you read a loan to another loan product. So let's say you go from VA loan to a conventional loan, you would get that. Let's say in your example, 500,000 is what you bought it at. It's 100,000 left. If you refinance that 100,000, it doesn't even matter if you do a cash or refi, whatever. If you change the loan product, you can use your one-time restoration to get that full 500K back and eligibility. Or even if you paid off the whole house, even then, if you still own the asset, they still won't give you your eligibility unless you use your one-time restoration. The only way you can get it back is if you sell the property. You are no longer the owner of the property. And I'm going to leave that loosely. There's ways to, right? Because you could, I'm not going to get into the weeds of that, but there's ways you can get it off your name. But on that note, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
wow, this has been like the most helpful VA I've ever had in my life.
Oh, really? I really try to help other veterans in in particular with this. So that's why me and my partner focus so much with veterans who kind of don't understand because there's so much misinformation out there. But especially on our creative financing side, it's really important for us to understand this really, as much as we can if we're trying to take over, VA loans so that we can help out the seller as much as possible too. And clarify, it helps us because we can potentially buy more deals, but it also really helps the seller so then they fully understand the power of their VA loan. And a lot of the times that's what we'll add a balloon. We don't want to take someone's VA loan forever. And sometimes the situation dictates that we will, we'll hold it out for the rest of the 28, 29, 30 years. But if we can, we'd like to refinance them out in 10, 12 years. So at least they get their VA loan back at some point in the future, as opposed to not being able to sell it, getting foreclosed on, and losing their VA loan forever. So for them, it's, do I lose it for 10 to 12 years or do I lose it forever? Or sometimes it's, oh, I still have eligibility. I can use the remainder of my eligibility. So it really depends on the situation. Like we have a almost $2 million deal here in San Diego that wiped out their entitlement. They won't be able to use it until we sell or refinance the property. So we added a balloon there to give them that. But his wife is military, so they have her VA loan. So we try to be really fair with this kind of stuff.
Why would anybody sell stuff too? And I told them the simple answer is because the alternative is worse.
Exactly.
It's like if you're staring down foreclosure and you're going to lose the property anyway, you have a foreclosure bond go off on credit, then eating the property over, but eating the debt in your name is a better alternative than
Yep.
So yeah, it's like in this case, it's like yeah, if there is foreclosure, like you said, this will sell the property to us subject to that might, like you're not going to be able to do that for another loan for another 10 years, so subject to refinance years. But that's better than ever being able to do that again.
Exactly. And that's, I would say 95+% of our properties that we buy creatively, it's because we're providing them the best option that they currently have. Right. And I always tell every agent or seller, if you can sell this thing for cash or conventionally at the terms that you're looking for, you should definitely do that. Like that should be your go-to route. If not, then this is probably the best option for you because either I can get it done quickly, I can get it done at the full amount. So you're not let's say it's a low equity play, and then they will have to come out of pocket to sell the property, which most people don't have 20, 30, 40, 50K in their pocket just to sell a property. It's been sitting too long. Or the one nuance to that is sometimes we have people that just want a higher purchase price, and that's fine. They're not desperate per se, but we can get them a higher purchase price as long as the terms allow us to make the money we need to as well. Yeah. So it's almost always solving a problem, except for the rare case of they just want more money than it's worth. So let's structure terms that allow us to make. Exactly. That's my favorite. I love, I, sorry to interrupt you. No, I was gonna say that's my favorite thing ever to do. When someone has ridiculous terms, let's say, I'll say, well, let's underwrite this thing together. Let me show you how much money I need to make. Let me show you why I can't give you what you're looking for, or why I can give you 10% interest, or why I can't give you 30% down. Let's look at the numbers together. Or for example, oh, you want to be able to buy another property? Well, let's look at it together and see how much you can buy. Because your eligibility. I think that always offers so much instant credibility to the agent or seller to be able to show them live, like, here, we're actually going to do this thing together. We're not going to talk about it in hypotheticals. We're going to go to the VA website. We're going to verify this info and just see how much you're eligible for. Will your next house cost less than 500,000? All right, well, then you're good. That's like instant credibility. Oh yeah. Mhm. Yeah. You can buy you can buy the nicest house in your market and you'll still have eligibility. That's huge, especially, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but especially when I pull out the phone and do a lot of this on the phone, they're like, damn, it's really that easy. People love to see it be that easy. Because like I said, there's so much misinformation. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? It's sometimes people try to address every objection up front rather than listening to the seller and just handling their specific objections. Right. You can tell them a million things and deed in lieu of foreclosure, performance deed, right? You can talk balloons, but unless you're addressing the seller specific concerns, it's not going to matter, right? And this sounds like for them was, we want to be able to buy another home with our VA loan. Cool, let's address that in detail and establish tons of credibility there on your counter. Awesome. Cool. Do you have any other questions? Oh, for sure. I figured it way easier if you just called me. So